This is the Backlog Podcast with Kevin Lane, bringing you weekly discussions on gaming as well as quick insights into sports, entertainment, and anything else that they can think of. Be sure to check out the backlogexposed.com, where you can listen to the podcast and get links to Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and Facebook. Now, gear up and get ready because this backlog is about to be exposed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Coming on in with the biddies straight off the top, we have episode number 71 with my cousin, the main man, one of two main men, because also in the chat today we have Ricky of MMA Marks. Ricky, I'm going to get you on here as well. But as of right this moment, we got ourselves Buddy. Buddy, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, I had a rough morning, but I feel a lot better right now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I was talking to Ricky saying what's up, and definitely what's up, man. I was telling you right before we came live here, I wanted to get both on, but it's just, you saw, it took me an extra hour just to even get you on here. So I gotta get my mind straight trying to get all this shit going. So I appreciate you being here and bearing with me as we get started. But look, the chat's already filling up. We got Courtney's out there, we got Ricky out there, we got the Saint himself out there, Dr. Dune is out there. The chat's filling up, and we're ready to get started.
That's all our favorite people.
That's right. So So, Buddy, man, tell me a little bit about what just happened this weekend, man, because this was a hell of a card. And for those of you who usually, you're listening for video games, UFC 3 is a video game. So we're going to dive into some MMA real quick and go over Justin Gaethje versus Cowboy. Just the match, not the whole card, because I know you got your own podcast to talk about. But tell me, what do you think happened with Cowboy in there?
Exactly what I predicted. Let's just say that. And back up. My dog's trying to jump in on the camera. So Cowboy starts off slow.
G-Wayne live.
And Gaethje starts fucking at 100 right away. I said that's Cowboy's going to start slow. And Gaethje came out and beat his ass. Yelled at the ref because the ref didn't stop it quick enough. That's
what I want to ask you. So you don't usually see Cowboy rocked like that. I mean, he usually gets beat when he loses. It's a beat down because he always puts it out there. But that's what sucks sometimes, especially when these guys, they don't have any bad blood. They just do the feud for the feud. And Gaethje threw a couple of hooks that he didn't need to, and got pissed at the ref. It almost looked like he was yelling at Cowboy, like, "Yeah, I got you," but that's not what it was about. He was pissed at the ref.
Yeah, definitely yelled at the ref.
Yeah,
because they're boys, really.
Yeah, exactly. They're both brawlers, and they both know what they're capable of. At the end, they
trained together in the past.
Oh, did they? Okay, yeah, because they trained with what's his face over there in New Mexico.
Well, Cowboy, in the pre-fight episode where they have a little talk, Cowboy was saying, "Dude, I remember when he was just a kid, and I was drinking with his dad. We were having a party, seeing who could drink the most beers for the night." I mean, when
I was gonna say when you watch these guys, you could tell that they had respect for each other for their their fighting prowess or whatever. But at the same time, both guys have a very similar aggressive style. Just Gaethje is more risk-taking. He's willing to put himself out there and get himself what you would think is knocked out, almost looking sloppy, but he does it every time, and he comes through a lot of the time with the victory. So I didn't really want one to win over the other, but go ahead.
I would say that Gaethje is they're both very great strikers, but Gaethje's more of a balls to the walls, throwing 100 with everything he tries, and Cowboy Cerrone is definitely more calculated and technical, and so he doesn't throw 100 on everything.
You're never gonna see Cowboy doing the cartwheel kick, I was hoping, man. So earlier this week, Buddy was playing UFC 3, and he was playing as Gaethje, and he was spamming that cartwheel kick, and he said, "I hope Gaethje wins with that." That would have been the best.
Well, that one is what Gaethje does on the game is actually a front flip. It's like a tumble.
Uh-huh.
And it's like your heel catches the guy in the face. The cartwheel is more of a cartwheel.
But yeah, here we are, episode 71. Joe's actually looking to come on back kind of full-time, but schedule permitting, right? He's got a lot going on at home and everything. And
21?
21, exactly. So we're just kind of going forward, plowing forward, and I'm sure whenever he gets himself ready to go, and we'll have more of a schedule, because right now, and this is another thing Buddy and I were talking about, is the importance of a schedule, the importance of all of that stuff, like making sure that the customer or the viewer, the listener, that they know what they're getting when they subscribe, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, G. Wayne's out there. He knows what I'm talking about, because especially if you're trying to go for partner and all that stuff, you need to have that schedule. You need to have something for people to know when to come to see you. And at that level, especially at like partner level or whatever, people are looking for you. It's not just, I swam by, ran by this channel. Like when I stream up until 4 or 5 a.m. and I get random Europeans just jumping into my chat going, who the hell is this guy? So, but anyway, so Bud, tell us a little bit about your 2-month journey here into LS5 and into streaming, because prior to that, I don't think you really knew much about streaming, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize it's only been like a month and a half. I don't know how long it's been.
Maybe it's been 2 or 3. I don't even know. My sense of time is terrible.
Yeah, me too. That's why I was like, he's probably right. But yeah, I mean, I remember like for the most part, I knew what Twitch was. I mean, I had friends that were doing it when it first came out and buying massive amounts of equipment and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, you're spending a lot of money. And that was before it took off. So, but anyway, I thought it was just something stupid. Didn't pay attention to it. And then you were telling me a lot more about it, and hearing your podcast episodes where you talk about people are making all kinds of money, and I'm a gamer, so I was like, hey, I might as well try it out. And I asked you all about it, and I was like, I would love to do this, because then I started checking people out and seeing how fun it was. And it's like my favorite thing about it, about Twitch, is it reminds me of AOL chats back in the day.
Yes.
And you go into somebody's room, it's like a chat room. You know what I mean? You're going into MMA Mark's Twitch, but it's really, I'm just the leader of that chat room, and then we can all talk amongst each other and have a good time, and we can do little dumb things where you pick the fighter, or we have little games like that, and I've seen people actually just talk like we're doing.
Yep.
I'm saying
it's
so much broad that you can do that it's fun.
I agree totally that referring it to like an AOL chat room is the easiest way I can explain it to people who don't get it. And when I say don't get it, I talk about this a lot on the podcast, but like, it's really weird that there's just such a gap between the people who understand what people are trying to do with Twitch and the people who, it's either maybe don't get it or don't care or aren't interested. I don't know. Maybe there's 3 levels or 20 levels, but you got it right away. It took you a minute to be like, all right, so what am I going to do here? How am I going to do it? And then you jumped right in. And I mean, I praise you every day. I think you're hilarious. I think when you do your streams they're entertaining. Doesn't matter if you have 1 person in there or 40, you're going to give the same, you give the same type of response, and you have a lot of energy in there. Plus, a lot of time you're talking to the people on the other end of the beatdown, and you're talking trash or making friends or whatever. You've brought people over.
A lot of times I'm teaching these fools.
Exactly. But you also, I look at all the invites and stuff, and I see who's bringing who in, and you constantly got people popping in. I don't know if it's from your community, from your podcast, or from the games. I think maybe a little bit of all of that. And so you're networking on top of playing games and on top of having fun. And that's what this is all about. And, you got yourself a nice little community going right within your own chat. You're a hell of a networker within the Discord. And and for those who don't know, and probably because it hasn't really been announced or anything, but Buddy is helping us out with social media. And today he jumped in head first with the Twitter, and it's just on fire. I mean, he's got a lot of skill set when it comes to networking and social media, and I don't know what the right term is right now, but getting people's attention. I think he's taught me quite a bit. But yeah, see, Ricky, engagement. Yeah, engagement. Because you can post 1,000 things, but if people aren't clicking like or replying, then they don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
and
that's what I focus on, is trying to get engagement.
Yeah, you're amazing at it. I was watching as you grew your MMA Marks channel, and I was talking to you directly during all of that, and I mean, my channel surpassed yours in followers, but they were all fake. I'd have 2,000 followers, and I'd post something, I'd get 10 likes out of 2,000 people or whatever, and a lot of those likes were you, me, Ricky, real close to me. And then you'd post, might have, I don't know how many you had at the time, but it was less, like not a lot less, but a little bit less.
We'll say 700.
700, yeah. And you post, and you get 60, 70 likes. And it just it was a huge difference, and I started noticing. So I started removing, the people that don't matter to my audience, because the way Instagram works is you can only have 7,500 people that you follow. That's so you can't spam the world and just keep growing automatically. So you gotta come at it hitting the right audience. You hit the MMA community. Tell me a little bit about some of the coolest responses, some of the coolest connections you've made with some of the MMA community, because you've had, even just recently with Derek Brunson and a couple of others, you've had some people see and react to some of your stuff.
Yeah, well, first of all, just to add to when you were telling me I'm hilarious. Well, I'm also hilarious not only when I stream, but when I do my podcast with our cousin Ricky.
Yes, yes.
And Ricky is just as funny as I am, and you kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I need backup to be funny. I'm not a one-man show by any means, but no, you guys, I swear, I sent him a message the other day. I was driving to work, and I was just giggling the whole fucking time all the way to work, because they were going at it back and forth, and they have such a good rapport, with each other. But at the same time, they're delivering the news, they're delivering the details about what you need to know on MMA. And before I knew that you guys even wanted to do an MMA podcast, I had probably 4 or 5 MMA podcasts that I listened to. I don't listen to any of them anymore. I don't need to. And I listen to them. I'm in the car less too, but I listen to yours. I get all the stuff I need. And, the one thing I do, I always say, I wish you guys did like a fight companion or something, so I could listen to you instead of, whatever. But Joe Rogan and those guys are good stuff too. Is it?
Yeah, so everybody follow Ricky.
Yep.
On his Twitch, because one of these fights coming up soon, we're going to be doing a fight companion. And
I'm posting both their links. They're both getting some shout outs here in the chat. If you guys are listening to this via the Twitch channel and not just the audio, definitely follow these guys. Speaking of follows, you getting a lot of dings on your phone here? Because I am.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy, because it's a giveaway.
Yep. Yeah, so for those of you not familiar, I'm going to post this in the chat as well. I did a giveaway, or I'm doing a giveaway. It's not nothing crazy. It's just a PlayStation, $50 PlayStation gift card, and then for first place, and then second and third place will get $25 gift cards, and it's a free giveaway. The Player GG link that's in, I'll probably tweet it out as well. But all we're doing is asking for you to engage. Follow, click some likes on some posts if you want to, join the Discords. Just be a part of it. And a couple of people. I mean, we've had a lot of people become engaged with this. I'm sure a lot of these people are just doing it for the chance to win. But out of it, I've already had a couple of people reach out directly on Discord, ask me a little bit about what all the community is. And then some of them I've noticed have been a little active, and that's what we're looking for. Is we're trying to grow the LS5 community. We're trying to grow our own channels, and in just a couple of days, I think I've grown almost 100 followers. So, I'm trying to get that 500 follow mark for TwitchCon, just for a goal for my own self. And at the same time, I put in Ricky, and I put in Buddy and Joe, some people close to me who I know deserve it, and Ricky, our cousin Ricky, who he just kind of got started not too long ago. He hasn't been streaming too much yet, but I think he's gonna start, right, bud? And we're gonna get him to affiliate as soon as possible.
Well, he's getting a whole new setup. He's getting a whole new setup.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, once you get that set up and you start building the page how you want, like I can't wait for you to have your overlays and stuff, because it's gonna just for you, your own confidence makes it a little bit different. Yeah, you got to nail down a schedule too. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you that I suck at schedules. So one of these days I'll. Today
I mentioned one thing before we start, and that's what you keep bringing up.
Ricky mentioned it. Ricky just mentioned it. For him, he said he's got to nail down a schedule for him. So
you're talking about. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. For him. But me and my podcast, I absolutely got to nail down a schedule, because we were at one point we were doing 2 a week, and now we're doing 1 every 2 weeks. So, but there's just so much going on. It's life is more important than sitting behind and editing podcasts and stuff. So, I'm sure the audience understands. But I want to get into some stuff real quick. So, tell me what it's been like connecting with Ricky. You've known Ricky all your life, obviously. You guys have been very close cousins, living together for most of it. What's it like now doing the podcast together? Also, obviously, there's some, tussles and this and that, but how awesome is it to be able to do that with him? You guys have a pretty strong bond, it's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, so this is how I feel. I'm sure he feels differently. Because we both have different, very different. But, like, I feel like that's how we did anyway. But it's just, now it's, we always talked to fights. We always got into little arguments and contests, and who you think would beat who up, and just little dumb things like that. And then now we're letting everybody else in on the action, and we're like, what, might as well reach out to all other people interested in MMA, so they can be a part of our little conversations, and And
I love the networking you're doing with the other podcasts. Like, you're actually getting in with other podcasts, and now you and Ricky are a team going against the Fight Addicts or whoever else. It's great to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we just started really connecting with a lot more MMA podcasts that are like us. Kind of smaller, but so we're in talks, and we're trying to figure out the exact details, but we want to have like podcast competition, like me and you would be in the competition because you follow MMA, and so we would all like get in there and compete with fight picks. Who has the best fight picks?
I love that.
And then, like, we haven't worked out the details, but we literally were just discussing it today. We're gonna get the details, and like, say at the end of the year, whoever's the winner gets to hold a trophy or something that we all pitch in. If you're in the competition, you pitch in, we buy a belt, something like that. And winner gets to hold it for the whole year.
That's awesome.
It's like, that's like a thing that we're trying to think up. And I think it would be awesome, and it would pick up a lot of pace with other podcasts, and then everybody will benefit from it.
We did obviously, Jeremy, my brother Jeremy. He's super competitive when it comes to fantasy football, and he'll get on 3 or 4 different fantasy football teams. And Daniel and Matt and cousins, and I guess my nephews, second cousins for you guys. But anyways, all the the family gets involved. It's super competitive, and they get a freaking trophy. And at the end of the year, you put a name on it, and that person gets to hold the trophy. I thought I was gonna win, and unfortunately, I came in very last place every year I've played. So by very last place, it means like by halfway through, I'm fairly certain there's no chance. No matter what, mathematically speaking, by mid-season, I'm usually out. And right now, actually, we're doing one. He talked me into doing a fantasy football where every week the team with the lowest number of points gets cut. He called it the off with your head. And there's really no format here. He made it up himself. So you're going against another team, but it doesn't matter if you win or lose. The team with the lowest number, they have to get rid of their entire roster, and then their entire roster gets put up for dibs. And then if nobody claims a person, so you have to pay money because it's a waiver, right? So they get put up, and then if nobody claims that person, then they get deleted from the roster, from the available roster. So every team that loses, they might have, Tom Brady on that team. If people don't grab him, or if they don't have a space for him, and he just doesn't make the cut, if he clears waivers, he gets deleted, and he's no longer available to the whole season. So I'm on the chopping block tonight, and I might be done already week 2, but I have a feeling. I played a guy that said he was tentative, and he didn't play, so I got 0 points for him, and $25 out the window. But I feel good. I feel like I'm going to come back, and my luck's going to prevail. I'll somehow win first place.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Even like playing the MMA version like of that type of thing with the DraftKings, it's still kind of confusing to me. I don't even understand that at all. It's like you get a certain limit of money to pick. Is that how the fantasy football works? Yeah,
so we have $500 to spend throughout the whole season, and so if someone goes on waivers and you want to buy them, it's a bid system, and you don't know what anyone else is bidding. So you could put 100, but someone might put 101, and you don't get that person. But you could put 100, and the next person could put 25. You lose 100, and you claim that person at 100.
Gotcha.
So it's like auction, but secret auction. And the first week I needed a quarterback, and so I put it out there, put a bid, and it didn't even come close, I don't think. So, I'm still new. I hate getting into fantasy sports because I'm a data nerd, and so whenever I start seeing data, I get attracted to it, and I can't stop. Even if it's data I don't care about, my brain just starts processing it. And so with Discord and the community, which is something I do care a lot about, there's so many avenues that I can take to try to take the data and use it for something good, to help the community, or go talk to different keyboard companies or microphone companies and try to get the sway our way, to say, hey, look, we want a LS5 coupon code or something, get everyone 25% off. You got to have numbers. Well, we have the ability to provide the numbers, but I got to get in there. Someone's got to get in there and get them. And it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass because Discord doesn't openly provide it. You have to dig. So I know I can dig, and I know the data is there, and then I get kind of addicted to it, and I spend hours. And then I got the kids to, make dinner and this and that. It's just one thing after another. And next thing you know, I'm like, where did 4 hours go? Oh, I was just researching data and didn't finish it today. So it feels like you don't get nothing done, but really, in reality, it's a step-by-step process. So I want to ask you about some video games here, because you primarily have been playing UFC 3. Yeah, it's a hell of a game. It's funny. I think it was Sicarius was like, he had never seen it, right? He was in your chat the other day, and he's like, what is going on here? And so now you got a sale, basically. I'm sure he'll probably end up picking it up just because he sees you playing it, just like that. Little old you playing a little old game that's been out for a couple of years, and you get put eyes on it. Someone's never seen it. The biggest streamer from Bangladesh, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna. He is. Sicarius, shout out to Sicarius TV. I know he's probably sleeping right now. He's on the other side of the world, but
as he would say, my brother from another mother, you mother ducker.
You mother ducker. Yeah, I had absolutely the privilege. Courtney and I played some Overwatch with him last week or a week and a half ago, and maybe it was, I don't even know. It was so much fun, just letting loose, and no one was really worried about winning or losing. Every time we lost, we were like, we won again, oh my god. It was a lot of fun. And a lot of times, like when I play with people, there's a lot of competition in that, if I do something stupid, people are always like, oh, come on, Kevin, why'd you fire your gun? Why'd you do that? And it's with that, and we were just able to play, and we were doing pretty damn good, to be honest. I had never played Overwatch on a PC, so I'm using mouse and keyboard for the first time in 15 years. Yeah, and so for what it was worth, I mean, Courtney was doing damn good. I was doing halfway decent, and then Sicarius, of course, has been playing the game for a while, so he's healing us and keeping us alive while we're trying to have fun. But I really love letting loose, having a lot of fun while I'm doing it. And sorry, I'm hearing my kid. I think my kid's up.
I thought it was my dog. I mean, my cat. I thought I heard a meow.
Nope.
But
It's my son.
Yeah, this is actually like a little side note. I don't know if he wants me to tell you, but he messaged me the next day and was like, "Oh my God, did you say anything to Kevin? Because that made my night. Just being able to play with him made my whole night." And he was telling me, so he was like very appreciative. He's like, "I don't know if you did, but if you did, thank you so much."
I'll tell you,
he's so appreciative.
You know, I'm just a guy, and just like the other leaders of LS5, I mean, we're just people who want to play video games, but also want to have give people an opportunity. It's the same opportunity we're looking for. I mean, I'm older, and so I know I can't take the same risks I could have if I were, 22, 23 years old. But I can still try. I can still have fun with it. And so, because our names are up top or whatever, because we've done it, so to speak, and got the board going, and that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. What it means a lot is the community involvement. And so seeing someone like him come in and be so dedicated so quickly, it actually it makes me feel privileged to play with him. As silly as that may sound to him, to me it's not. It's like, I got a guy coming over here telling me he's happy to be here. That's the ultimate goal of what I've got going into this whole thing. I have a job. I don't think that Twitch will ever make me enough money to quit that job. So, so in reality, it's about the community, and it's about making friends. And if Sicarius or whoever else wants to make this their full-time thing, I want to be a part of that if I can. I want to be able to help whoever it is, you, Ricky, whoever, to make it a full-time thing if that's what you want. Because I feel like, especially with the crew we've got, I feel like we've got the skills to help people achieve that. And, it's not an easy path for anybody, but the money's out there, the viewers are out there, and the whole quadrant of whatever this is going to turn out to be, whether it's a flash in the pan or the next generation of the way people watch media. The pie is out there, and we can have a piece of it. And, when that's the way I look at it. When you see like just these huge FaZe Clan or 100 Thieves and these teams, right? They've got phenomenal players, but every single one of them started with an idea, and every single one of them started small. Okay, very few of them started with a huge bucket of money doing a podcast. So, some of them probably did. I'm not gonna lie, but really, when it comes down to it, the community is the most important part of any of that. If FaZe Clan or 100 Thieves or whoever, if they dissolve from the inside because their community sucks, then it doesn't matter how much money they're making, they'll make less tomorrow. We're not making it about money, we're making it about community. We're trying our best anyways, and we're trying to make sure that people have access to the answers that they need. Many of our LS5 users are brand new or desire getting into it but haven't. And so we have people who step in and help them. But then we got what you've got, the podcasts, the game reviews, the hardware reviews. Tell me, so from a pure podcast perspective, what do you think communities like LS5 can do for podcasts? People who aren't visibly, out there showing their face all the time.
So like, you mean in general, like?
Yeah, in general,
Discord,
like,
or
Discord,
specifically LS5.
Just saying, like,
sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, in general, yeah, like, and podcasts who are listening to podcasts, saying, what would I benefit from this? Like, I don't stream.
Well, I mean, it's literally it's a place where you can come together and collaborate. You can have ideas and share them, and see other people's viewpoints on what they're struggling with on their podcast. It's a way that, like, people that are like-minded and doing the same things as you, where they can connect and really try and work together and build each other up, support each other, and grow together. Because everybody always wants to be on that jealous bullshit, like, oh, I don't want them to do well. Like, what I'm doing when I'm talking to my fellow MMA podcasters is I'm not looking for anything back, first of all, but I'm always trying to give them a shout out. Go on their podcast, have them on mine and Ricky's podcast, and I think Discord would just help. I mean, even if we just everybody went to Leaky Squad, that like in a podcast section of it, I think that it would benefit everybody in the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Podcast and business, I should say.
Yeah, man, I agree. Community is huge. I love it. I love just being able to log in and say hi to 100 people or 30 people or 3 or whatever, however many people are available. And I see all these little side communities spreading and popping up and people making friends, and it's awesome. So you're not huge into wrestling. You kind of watch it. Obviously, we got Alpha in there, makes us think about it. He asked you today, I think he asked you, what was your favorite feud of all time?
I think I seen that when I shaved my head earlier. But I just forgot to reply because then I started doing this with you. My favorite feud in all of pro wrestling?
Yeah.
It depends. So it makes me go back to when I thought it was like completely real.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
I loved, and it's not even like I guess it's not exactly a fair one to choose, but whatever, it's the most epic to me. The Ministry of Darkness, Undertaker and all them versus the Corporation, and when they stole Stephanie McMahon, had her up on the crucifix,
on the cross. On the cross. Oh man, that was sick.
Shit
I remember that.
Scared the fucking shit out of me as a kid, dude. I used to fucking have this little ass TV like this big. It was a long thing, and I remember being in my room watching that little ass TV, and I don't know how old I was, whatever.
Yep.
And when Kane or Undertaker would come out with their music, I'd be in my dark room, shouldn't even be up at night. My mom would be like, "You need to get to bed." I'd have to turn the volume down because that shit would scare me just hearing their music come out.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I was terrified of those guys growing up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I got my Jericho shirt on from AEW right now. I stopped watching wrestling for a while, but I was huge into wrestling growing up, and huge. I mean, obviously we talked about 1,000 times on here, but I got back into it. Obviously, my friend Todd is in the WWE right now, and they're probably wrestling as we speak because Raw is on. But
Raw is war.
I mean, holy shit! Last week, he was in the main event with other main eventers, AJ Styles, and just like looking around at the crew. Did I just fuck something up? Hold on. You can still see me, right?
I can see everything. I mean, I can see you.
I thought I just hit a button and turned this whole thing off. Sorry. But yeah, so I got to mention it just because it's the first podcast I've had a chance to. Todd's not a drinker. He's I guess from what I understand, he's gone his entire life without drinking a sip of alcohol.
Bullshit.
Almost 40 years old. No, I mean maybe bullshit, but he's obviously not made it a regular thing if he ever has. And according to him according to my buddy Justin, who was on the podcast last week, the first sip of alcohol he's ever had was with Stone Cold Steve Austin in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw last week.
Okay.
And if you watch
I've seen that clip.
If you watch it, you can tell he's trying not to get any in his mouth, which I think is kind of funny because at that point you just fucking go for it, But hey, you stay true to your word. He's straight edge. He avoids that, and good for him.
And that's his beer now, right?
It's Stone Cold's beer. Yeah.
Yeah, he has his own beer.
So his first beer ever was Stone Cold's brew.
If Stone Cold hands you a can of his beer and cheers with you, you better fucking swallow every sip.
But he's got his whole gimmick's the Viking gimmick. So he was able to, he did that, right? He got it all over his face, all in his beard, and then he just started crushing the can over his head, and the beer spin it out everywhere. And on WWE.com there was a picture on the front of it, and it's like 5 people, Stone Cold, or 6 people, Stone Cold, and then him and the other guys, and the beer's flying and everything. It's like a perfect picture. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, man, I fucking know that guy. I'm just super, super happy for him. And to think, like, how many people got to finish Raw drinking beers with Stone Cold? There's only a specific number, and he's one of them now. Yeah. So,
he's made it.
He's made it, yeah. And so I've been into wrestling ever since he's, back into wrestling, watching it. Not regularly enough to know every feud or whatever storyline, but because for me, I like the edgier stuff, the stuff that you're talking about with like the, putting Stephanie up on a cross. They wouldn't do any of that anymore. And so
I really thought they were killing her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we were kids, like, the casket matches and stuff, it's like, what are they going to do with the body? Yeah. I think I was 5 years old, and they're hammering the casket, and I'm sitting there asking my brother, like, what do you think? He's breathing still. What do you think he's going to do? Like, how do they save him? I didn't realize that, Mr. Fuji is probably the one opening up when they get out back. So, but anyways, yeah, it's a lot of fun if you just let yourself go. And yesterday, when I was doing a stream, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we just had a lot of fun looking at old videos and talking about like the excitement of entrance music. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen on MMA Mark's, the revival, on MMA Mark's Twitch channel now, he's got some new emotes, and that picture, it's on the front of his shirt right there. There it is. Ricky's throwing them out there. The H-bomb. That emote is the same picture that's on the front of his shirt.
Tell us a little bit fatality on it.
Yeah, tell everybody real quick about that fight and what Hendo means to you, because he's one of your favorites.
Well, that fight, there was a huge feud. You want to talk about feuds like WWF, WWE? This one was the Ultimate Fighter, and you could just tell these guys wanted to kill each other. I mean, Bisping talked about Hendo's wife, talked all kinds of shit. I mean, this is real life. This ain't no gimmick. You know what I mean? It's just a dude that just likes hitting the shit out of people versus a shit talker. Really?
Yeah.
And the whole time he kind of basically kept quiet. Dan Henderson did. He kind of just like, yeah, you'll see. And then as soon as they started fighting, man, Bisping was new. Hendo been there, done that. He was double champion pride, and was just murking everybody in UFC.
Yep.
And really, Bisping didn't deserve that match, but he was being granted that match. And what he did was an amateur move. He kept circling to Hendo's Dan Henderson's power right.
Yeah, he did.
And he clipped his bitch ass, knocked him the fuck out, cold, like stiff.
Yep.
And before the ref could even jump in there, Hendo's already in the fucking air with his fucking arm, flying down, punching that motherfucker in the face when he's already knocked out. And
Ricky says he was blind, that's why.
They asked him about it. He goes, "Well, I guess he deserved that, didn't he?"
Yeah, he knew it was a bullshit punch, but he threw it nonetheless. I never.
Sorry, they were going. They disqualify people for hitting people intentional late hits like that after somebody's knocked out. Like people have, one of the videos I've seen where a guy like flips and does like a body slam on top of somebody else.
Yep.
They DQ'd him because it was just so much unsportsmanlike. They do that, I guess.
What about this guy doing the backflip on the guy this week?
Well, that's okay because he wasn't knocked out. I'm talking about on a knocked out opponent.
You're talking. I see.
And like showboating when it's already definitely over.
Yeah.
If you do some dumb shit like that, then they'll like literally call it a no contest or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
When Dan Hendo followed through with that punch, man, it was one of those clear fuck yous. Like it wasn't. Oh, is he out? Let's just make sure. I mean, he was out going backwards, and he just flew through the air. And who did that again? Didn't he do it again to somebody else?
Well, what I was going to say is, most recently, Jorge Masvidal fucking went against Askren and ran in 5 seconds. By 5 seconds, it was all over. But he ran in, hit him in the face with the knee, flying knee to his face.
Sick.
Within 2 seconds, he was out. He was out cold. Fight was over in 2 seconds. But it took the ref 5 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever it was to pull him off him. Because right after he landed the flying knee, he hit him like 3-4 times right in his fucking knocked out face.
Yep.
And then the press
soared through the air.
Conference afterwards, whatever, they asked him, he said, "Do you think that it was necessary to keep striking him?" And he said, "Super necessary." But
super necessary.
You talk all that shit, you're gonna get what's coming. But he was careful with his words, and he said, "I am not an intelligent guy like Valentina Shevchenko. You know, she's an intelligent fighter. She knows when somebody's out cold. I'm sorry, I don't know that. And I've seen Ben Askren recover, so I have to keep hitting him until the ref pulls me off like a fucking dog, because that's what I am. And I love people like that just want to, because I'm in it for the violence, dude.
I mean, hey, I literally can claim legit that I've been watching UFC since the first ever. And my old neighbor Ray, I remember him getting it on pay-per-view. He was a couple years older than us. His dad let him get it, and it was like, what is this? You know, it was like the same thing as Faces of Death to us. You know, for some reason that was a thing, and you go to the store, they'd rent Faces of Death, and you go home and watch it and be like, what the fuck am I watching? But UFC all of a sudden, same time frame as that stuff, and you know, that first one, people didn't even know what tapping out was. The referees didn't even know what tapping out was, for real. I think it was Ken Shamrock was going against Royce Gracie in their first matchup. That might have been UFC 2 or 3. And Gracie tapped out Shamrock. Shamrock tapped, but the referee didn't know what tapping was and just let the match continue. And then because Gracie felt the tap, he let up. Shamrock gets up ready to keep fighting. And Gracie's like, no, you fucking know you tapped. And Shamrock's like, yeah, you're right, I did. The referee didn't know what was going on. Had no idea. I mean, it was bare knuckle. It was serious. It was sick. I mean, you had a guy come in with one boxing glove and one regular glove. They had tournaments. No
weight classes.
No weight class. The first ever fight in UFC was that sumo wrestler versus the skinny karate dude. Sumo wrestler comes running out doing this. Karate dude just steps to the side, trips him, and kicks him square in the face. Yep. Tooth flies out of his head. Soccer kick. The guy's on all fours and just the cleanest kick to the face you've ever seen. And he's out.
Like, that guy witnessed a murder.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, back then you're thinking, oh, this big dude's gonna wreck that little skinny dude. But that's what it was all about. Yeah, sumo guy lost 5 teeth during that, and that's what it was back in the day. It was like brutal,
more barbaric,
but also you got the same people are fighting 3 times, 4 times in the same night, and so multiple times you had replacements come in because the people couldn't continue, suffering broken arms, broken hands, this and that in the matches because it was a lot more aggressive, a lot less skill involved. So you'd have Street Fighter versus Karate Man, and I don't know. Anyways, nowadays it's much more calculated, and anything can happen because while they do all have different styles, they have a mix of it all. Pretty much everybody get into there.
Exactly.
So are they doing UFC 4? I'm sure they're gonna, but have you heard anything about that anytime soon? 3's been out for a while.
Just from playing with people, I have never really looked into it, but I just assumed that they were just gonna wait a long time. But it seems to be like everybody feels like it's on the horizon of coming out. Yeah. Somebody was saying that the contract runs out soon, and they're going to be doing fight nights. EA is or whatever instead.
Like boxing?
Yeah, like they used to do fight nights.
Yeah.
And something about the contracts run out, and then they're going to start doing fight nights.
So they're not going to be doing UFC no more?
I'm not really sure. And
that's possible.
I liked UFC better when it was the old developer or whatever it's called. Like the first ones when they were called Undisputed.
THQ, I think, wasn't it?
Probably. And Undisputed 3 was the best one
I've
ever played.
That's one with Silva on the front, right?
I can't remember. But it was the first one with Kimbo Slice in it. And Brock Lesnar and all them were all in it, and it just
Ricky
had
says,
like a lot of...
Ricky says, button mashers unite. Yeah, that was,
I'm not no button masher. But
back then, I mean, the nowadays playing, even when it was the EA MMA, I think it was called, before the UFC came in. I didn't either, but it was like everything, even the punches, you had to like swing it around. I remember playing wrestling games back when THQ on the N64. Those were the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, and nowadays
sure.
everything's so, like, when I told you I can't play UFC games because the second I get put to the ground, I cannot figure out how to get out of a fucking submission, even if it's the best submission defense versus the worst submission expert. I can't do it. And so I just can't understand what the fuck I'm trying to do. It drives me nuts. So I like what you do. When you play, what's it called? Stand and bang or something?
Stand and bang, but I've been venturing out to the other one because everybody keeps calling me out saying I can't do MMA. I'm good at wrestling defense where I can stop a lot of takedowns and stuff. But really, I've been getting better. I've been working with some, basically some random people in the PlayStation community that I'm in for UFC. Excuse me. A guy put a call out or whatever it's called, a post, saying he needed help with his stand-up. So it was a perfect mix match because he told me that he actually was really good with grappling. And we helped each other out a lot. But, like, that's what we talk to one another a lot, like other players too. And I'll teach them a thing or two with the stand-up, and they'll teach me a thing or two with the ground or grappling. Because grappling with the clinches also, you know, stand.
Yeah. Oh my God, the clinch game in those games is a lot of fun too. Like, it's devastating if you get caught in a clinch, you can't get out. But it really makes you think too what a real fight. When you see some of these fighters get back in the day, Anderson Silva with Rich Franklin, just like Franklin couldn't get out of that fucking clinch. And it looks like it's just some hands on the back of the neck. It's real loose, but like it's all about where you go from the second you try to get out. You know, it looks like it'd be so easy. Just dip down and back up. But no, I mean, there's something. You're going to get yourself taken out if you do that. But yeah, those games, they are a lot of fun. I do have to get in there and play you, but I'm just going to get wrecked. So I'm waiting for Tag Team UFC so that you and I can team up, beat some other fools.
What you need to do is you need to fight Ricky. He's also a beginner.
You had done it. You went there. Oh, shit.
I'm trying to teach him, but it's rough.
He says, play me because I suck. I will. I got it. I own it. So I am going to get in there, but I've been saying that about 700 games now. So one game I did pick up, which I am going to be playing this week at some point. Mortal Kombat 11. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. How much have you played on Mortal Kombat 11?
I played the first day I got it, and that's it.
Okay. So
but I really liked it. I actually really liked it. And
I remember when I was a kid. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't not play it for any particular reasons, just been busy. But it's kind of on my backlog, but I'm going to be attacking my backlog quicker than you usually do.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a big backlog like you.
Couple hundred games, to be honest. A lot of them aren't games I need to play, but you know, there's a couple like God of War. I have to finish Spider-Man. I have to play some of these games that are the story games that I care about. That it's just I was talking to a guy today, actually. His name's Sonny, real cool guy. I bought a PlayStation off him yesterday, off of Offer Up, and you know, I was talking to you and a couple people during it because it's like, you know, these services where you know people come into your friggin' house. Now they know where you live and everything. He turned out to be a really awesome dude. He's a Marine, and he definitely, there's no worry about any, you know, whatever. But as he gets here, we're talking about LS5, we're talking about all the different things, like the community. He says he wants to stream. Reason he's selling his PlayStation is he bought a PC, and he's only going to be doing PC gaming. His PlayStation's brand new. Got 2 games with it, 2 controllers, hell of a deal. And then he says to me, well, if you're interested in an Oculus Go. Well, fuck yeah, I'm interested in an Oculus Go. So I bought that off him too. And another hell of a deal, but it's practically brand new. The thing hasn't really been used ever. A couple times, he said. And so, but on top of that, he's going to be joining the LS5 community. He's going to be getting himself involved because he's going to start streaming. And that's what the network, and like you said, you're playing a game. You need to increase your ground game. Talk to a guy. You have a really good stand-up game in that game. I was gonna say actually when you were talking about it. That's what I was gonna cut you off. Was
go ahead. Cut me off every time.
I know I do. But Ricky says button mashing, right? Ricky says button mashing. But that's what I do. You're calculated and you call shots. It's funny, but it's also serious. Like when you're playing, You wait, you kind of know what's coming, and you're using the stand-up game as an actual science or something, as opposed to just like, oh, I'm throwing a right, I'm throwing a right, I'm throwing a right, I'm throwing a left, I'm throwing a right. You're doing it almost like a fighter would in a match.
Yeah.
Like, what's going through your mind when you're... Yeah, you get into it like I would with a Guitar Hero almost. Like, it's... Tell me a little bit about that, because that's a skill.
Here's the thing. You got to get just high enough to where you're in super matrix mode. So you feel like you're literally one with the controller. And you know that if you move your left middle finger, you're going low. You know what I mean? So you just feel like that's your lower half. Or you feel like that's where... You feel like that square button is your left hand. That triangle is literally your right hand.
No, I'm with you. I'm following you. Yeah. So
like, you just and the thing is like even without that mode, you gotta think of it this way. There's only a few things you can do in the game, and you gotta see what they are comfortable with, and then you gotta force them to try and do dumb things. You got to find their mistakes, and I'm really good at baiting people in to try, because a lot of people love countering, because countering can get you a quick knockout. So what I do is I feint and fake punches a lot, and I get people coming in a lot trying to counter me. So I get them to counter me, and I know it's coming, so I am able to counter their counter. I know it's a weird game, but that's like my whole stand-up game pretty much.
No, I've noticed that too. Like, you'll even say that, like, you'll say, come on in. Come on. Oh, there it is. And, like, you're waiting for that one thing, the kick or the punch or whatever. And the second they throw it, you got those golden nuts coming, and the rest is history.
I got them right here. I might as well grace you with them.
Oh man, those are bigger than they look, man. Those are some big golden nuts.
Those are bigger than they look. You've only seen them. What do you mean? What do you feel them?
No. Well, what I mean is, like, you just put your hand underneath of them, you caress the bottom of those nuts, and you can really see the size. I always thought that they were like, this big, but those are some big nuts, man.
These are truck nuts, bro.
My
dad had all kinds of truck nuts. You hang them on the back of trucks, and then they got illegal, actually.
Did they really?
But
they're down here in Florida still.
But
see, you got to move yourself down to Florida.
He had a blue
balls,
and he had a blue truck. But we used to like pack the truck down and do all these like real big dump loads because he was a hoarder.
Yeah.
And when we would be dragging real bad, because the truck would be lowered because we got so much weight, and he would always be like, "Oh, we're dragging nuts, buddy. We're dragging nuts." But literally, there was drag marks on these nuts.
These nuts, man, those things. So, for those of you who haven't followed or seen Buddy play, when he knocks people out, man, he pulls those nuts out, and he says, "Golden nuts. I love gold." I don't know. I can't do it like he can.
I tell him, hey, if I knock you out, like say I knocked out somebody using John Dotson, I say, hey, John Dotson, I'm dropping these nuts on your forehead. I love gold. So you can't teabag in the game, but that's my way of teabagging.
That's his way of teabagging.
Because in Halo, that's where the reason why I started online gaming is because I was over a friend's house. He had Halo, and I was like, hold up, you're talking to people around the world on your video game? He's like, yeah. I'm like, bro, give me the mic. And I was the most toxic piece of shit. I was like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I'll kill you. And, just immediately, like, the worst of the worst. And, saying every cuss word out there.
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, all right, next paycheck, buy a 360, get a microphone. And for a while there, but that's all I was doing. We would go and play Halo together. We would be teabagging the shit out of people.
Yo.
It's just what we did.
That's hilarious, man. Yeah, I never really played the Halo, but we played probably 1 or 2 games of Call of Duty. I sucked so bad back then that I really didn't get too much into it. But I think I played against you or played with you 1 or 2 times. You jumped in a lobby with me. And this one day, I've told this story a couple times, but this one day was really funny. I thought I was playing against Matt, and he was playing his account was playing some like bot mode where you could go in and just shoot bots. And if you had friends, they could pop into that same game. And, you know, basically you're playing you and a friend versus bots, or you could be on the other team. And I went in and I'm just picking off Matt left and right, just for like probably 20 straight minutes, just sniping them. And I'm like, man, I'm killing them. It turned out to be Alana. Like she was trying to learn how to play the fucking game, and I was just wasting her left and right. And
she probably was getting so mad. Like
she was so this computer sucks.
Computer hitting her.
Put it on easy, and here I am just wasting her. But I felt bad because Alana's awesome. But yeah, I get to see Matt in a couple weeks. I'm super excited going out to and for everyone out there.
I wish I could be out there with you guys. I mean, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a blast.
It is gonna be a blast next year, man.
I know that there's gonna be plenty of people to party with, but I'm the real party.
Yeah, dude. For real. I said it, and I told you and Ricky both. For one, gotta get you guys down to Florida. You know, especially with that cold weather coming up there in Maryland, man. You gotta figure out how the road does connect outside of Maryland. You can go south. You can hit Virginia. I don't know if you've ever been there, but you can come on down to Florida. Come on down. I want you guys to come down and visit, and you know, obviously stay as long as you want, but next year, man, we got to get another crew for TwitchCon, and I hope that we just got a subscriber over here, King X and Hort 4. Thank you very much for that sub. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, man, seriously, the team we got going to TwitchCon is so loaded. It's gonna be so much fun. Without you guys, it's not gonna be as fun. But next year we're gonna lay the groundwork, and we're gonna let everyone know. Next year we want Conor McGregor there, so that he can meet you guys. Actually, real quick, you see he wants Gaethje.
He literally calls out everyone whenever there's a high profile fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said he wants it. What do you think? I mean, let's pretend it happens.
I think Gaethje easily whips his ass.
I do too. I think Gaethje makes him look silly.
When Cowboy and Conor got announced, I was like, okay, that's the most winnable fight in the division for Conor right now.
Yeah.
And he should have took that fight, but
he'll take it now.
Honestly,
he'll take it now.
No, he won't, because he just got beat twice. He got beat by Tony and Gaethje. So he's on a two-fight loss streak. That
seems like the kind of fight Conor would want to take.
No, because he doesn't have the spark right now. He don't have the Dad Cerrone spark like before.
Yeah, that's true. You see Pacquiao's fighting Floyd, so that's out of the picture for Conor to come back. And I never thought that would happen again, but I always figured that for Conor, the big money was fighting Floyd again if he needed it. He obviously doesn't need the money, but all these people who live that lifestyle, they need to dip into that cash every once in a while. I see one more big fight for Conor if he wins, another one, but spaced out over the span of it. He doesn't want to fight, I don't think, anymore now he's got his kid. And he wanted to fight 5 years ago. Huge difference. You could see it in his eyes. He wanted to fight before.
I think he still wants to fight because he doesn't need money. So, and the fact that he really wants to get in there and fight, like that he literally is keeping himself relevant, I think that he just wants to be in the game, meaning like be in the fight world. He wants to mean something.
He wants to mean something.
He still has that championship mindset to a degree.
Yeah. And you guys go back and forth about this. You talk a lot about John Jones and whoever. I know Ricky hates him. But when I watch fighting, I don't know who's done what. I don't know what shit. When we watch a movie, you don't know what actors raped who. You don't know. You know what I mean? There's so many shitty people out there.
And that's common in that business.
Yeah, and so when I watch fighting, I'm there to watch the best. And there's no doubt Conor is very good. Okay, is he the best? I mean, he's proven he's one of the best. Is he the best? I don't think so. I don't think he's the best. He's one of the funnest to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So no matter what stupid shit he does outside, I don't care for that, and I don't like it, and it doesn't make me like him as a fan. But as a fan, I like watching good fights. So I will watch a John Jones fight, any day of the week, even though he obviously has turned into somewhat of a scumbag. Or a lot of a scumbag, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, Conor sells the fight better than anyone. So I love the hype behind it. I love when a fight means something. I think that's one of the biggest problems that UFC has had as it's blown up and become such a big international sensation. You guys were talking about this on the podcast last week. Do you like those 1 o'clock? No. I remember when UFC was the biggest to me, when I wouldn't miss a single fight in the UFC, was when I could tell you every single person on the roster. And there were fewer weight classes. I know because the skill has evolved, weight classes need to be there because those few pounds do matter. But what I'm talking about is back in the day, they put on a card. It didn't matter what city they were in. The fucking card was going to be the top, the best fighters they got, 1 through 5, 5 matches of. You wanted to see almost every single one of those matches every time. And now you get one match you want to see, one match that means something, and then 3 matches that don't mean shit. And you don't know who the fuck any of them are. Maybe
That's
1 or 2.
Slightly accurate, but I wouldn't say it's completely accurate.
It's not 100% across the board, but a lot of the times when you're watching these cards, and it doesn't mean the card's going to be bad, it doesn't mean it's going to be unfun to watch, but when... In my just all again my opinion. When I used to watch it, we would watch it. I mean, and I remember we would play poker the whole time. We'd get a group of people, every one of us. The Rampage versus what's his name there?
Rashad.
I remember going to Buffalo Wild Wings. You couldn't get a fucking seat. There was no standing room. You go down to the next place, Hooters. Nope, no chance. You couldn't even get into a place. Overcapacity. The last John Jones fight, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, no one's there. No one gives a fuck. And this is the same place.
Now, because we're all watching at home, because Buffalo Wild Wings is slipping, they don't know how to keep the fights on the right channel.
Well, that's probably part of it, but it's
expensive to drink and eat there. We can drink and eat crabs at home.
That's true. Only in Maryland. Not down here in Florida. You can't have no Maryland crabs. You're all missing out if you never had some Maryland crabs. That's the one thing.
You can't have crabs over there and it kind of tastes like Maryland crabs. Is it really that big of a difference?
Well, yeah, it's not done the same way. You can get your Old Bay seasoning and stuff. Just the way the Maryland crabs are cooked and tossed on the table. They don't do it like that. I'm sure it's possible. But we have a place called the Juicy Crab down the road. Real good food, but it's more like boiled and steamed. And ain't no Old Bay in there, maybe a little sprinkle. Not like in Maryland where it's like you have to literally take chunks of Old Bay and you get your hands burning hot through every, cut you might have on them, and you don't know if you're biting your fingertips or the meat, you're eating the yellow shit in the inside of a crab, like you don't even know what it is.
You gotta dip the meat in the Old Bay.
Yeah.
You gotta do all that shit.
Down here, and you watch people eat crabs, and they're like with a fork and a knife, and the pinky's out. In Maryland, guys, you throw a fucking newspapers on a picnic table. You get a bag of fucking crabs, you dump it out. And again, when you're ripping those crabs open, what is that yellow shit? Is that shit?
Yeah, but we call it the mustard.
The mustard, that's right. Yeah, the mustard.
We call it the mustard, right?
It's the mustard. You just, you put it on your lips.
You still eat it.
That's right.
Because it tastes good.
It tastes good. That shit tastes good. Sounds as gross as can be, but I'm telling you, it's good stuff. And you never really know what crab feasting is until you do it right up in Maryland. So if you ever get to Maryland, definitely do a crab feast. If you don't want to eat yellow
Ricky.
shit.
He has the best crabs. Or we have the best time at his house. So if you're gonna come, you might as well come over to the spot to really drink and chill, have a good time with us, and be on our podcast.
Absolutely. I got to get up that way. I was planning on it this summer, but just a lot of things happen. But definitely, after the snow clears next year, I'm gonna be coming up that way. I don't want to see snow ever again in person. There's plenty of movies and YouTube videos and shit that'll have that. But unless I'm at some crazy resort somewhere where they're shoveling my driveway for me, I think I've done my time in snow. But so, buddy, real quick, because we've been going about a little over an hour here, I want to make sure we don't go too far. But
okay.
tell me what you got. What's the horizon here for you guys? MMA Marks, your Twitch channel. What are we gonna do with Ricky? How are we gonna get him going? What you got on the agenda here for the next couple of months? What's your game plan, like all around?
Well, I mean, we recently had decided that we're gonna have like a meeting and kind of really look at things because we are coming up on a year of doing this, and we want to kind of really take a look and analyze what's going on and see where we focused on this year, maybe take a different focus. But one thing that Ricky had said recently was we want to focus more on like the gaming community and the Twitch community because they seem to be more loyal, you know?
Yeah.
It's a more loyal following, and like, yeah, my MMA community, they're always going to be there, but you know, to really have the more togetherness and more it's all about trying to involve people with the Twitch and that will in turn involve them with our podcast and have more listeners and more people throwing in questions for us and just engagement overall. So we're really, everything is focusing on engagement and building a community that is also part of a community.
I love that. You know, obviously we talked a hell of a lot about the community aspect. And you got yours growing, man. It's brewing, whether it's through Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, what else you got? You got Linktree, you got a BioFM, all of them at MMA_Marks. Then you got Ricky over here with Ricky of MMA_Marks. And you guys are building amazing stuff. I love listening to your podcast. I love watching you play. I can't wait to be watching Ricky play. Definitely plan on getting Ricky on the podcast.
Don't do it.
No, I need to hear his side of the story. You know, I need to hear.
You know what? He's gonna. You'll have a great show. I'll tell you.
Oh,
that.
for sure. One of the things I gotta rag Ricky on before we wrap it up is because when you guys first started doing your show. Okay. And I told you this. I think I don't know if I told Ricky this yet, but like Ricky had a very, in my opinion, really. It didn't matter whether he liked him or not. He's talking skill. He's talking. There was less heart in the decision and more using common sense in his answers. And you know who's going to win this fight or that. And over the last year, I've watched him evolve, and the passion has taken over. And so, you know, when it comes to a John Jones and Daniel Cormier, he wants Daniel Cormier to win, whether he thinks he should for real, whether he really looks at the deep, you know, the stats. Yeah. He's over here saying, I hate John Jones, so I'm not picking John Jones. And I just find that to be, I love it. I love the evolution of Ricky going from, you know, like I said, and maybe I'm wrong on it. Maybe it wasn't always like that, but I just remember at the beginning of you guys' podcast, it would be more, you know, I'm thinking about this. He's got this and that. Now it's just like, nope, fuck that guy. I don't like him. And
well, I think it was just we got more comfortable because he was trying to be
exactly.
He was trying to be somebody, or what he thought he was, instead of just being himself. Same thing. And now
he's being himself.
You know? Yeah. And now we are ourselves, and that's the one thing that people tell us about our podcast. It's like listening, or it's like being in the room and having a drink with your buddies and talking to fights, you know?
Well, I mean, when I was listening to that podcast last week, I almost felt like I could be like, oh, buddy, that was fucking hilarious. You know, like for real. Yeah. I talk to you enough, or, you know, watch you enough or whatever. It's like, yeah, and I think you said it about my podcast with Joe. It's like you're being there with some friends. I've had some people say otherwise, like, oh, you need to have more of a question and a pattern format to your podcast. No, I want to do the podcast the way I like to do it. And a lot of the feedback I've gotten was exactly the same things I love about your podcast, in that the flow goes the way you want it. You obviously have the points that you need to call out. You call out, you know, who's the, you know, what the card was, you know, what the next card's going to be, but you start doing who's your favorite knockout, who's your favorite submission. All that stuff is awesome, but you do it at your own pace. You do it at your own rhythm when you're doing it. It's not like, okay, well, we've had 5 minutes to talk about this. Now we're moving on. That kind of stuff makes me feel like you're missing something sometimes when you hear a podcast and they're like, oh, no, ring the bell. No more talking about that.
Exactly.
So, Joe and I would say at the beginning before we do a podcast, we want to talk about this, and this. And we might only get to 2 of those things. And we never cared. We never were like, oh, well, fuck, next week. We just move on. I mean, if something hung on for a week and was still important, we'd bring it up. Or otherwise, we'd just scrap it.
I can't say the same for us. We have went, fuck, we forgot.
But we don't feel it as listeners, I think. It just flows. It's good. It flows. And you guys have, I love the theme. I love the, you guys got your audio down. It's just coming together. And I really implore anybody who is halfway interested in MMA or not interested in MMA but love these guys from seeing them on Twitch or whatnot, go check them out. I posted the link here in Twitch. I'll tweet it out. It'll be part of the show notes as well. Anchor.fm/Ricky-Reed7 is where you're going to get yourself the MMA podcast, right? And then once you go there,
you can go to Linktree, Spotify,
yeah,
iTunes.
Yep.
You can just look us up. I just want to also throw this out there while you're giving us a little bit of a plug. We're actually we tried out, and I think we're getting more comfortable with it. Of everything is we're going to start doing video, and we're going to have it on YouTube too.
Awesome.
Also, we're going to have a camera
awesome.
on me and a camera on him, and we're gonna. So it's a lot of big changes. We got the competition that we're going to be starting. We got the video podcast that we're going to be doing. So not only are we going to do it on have our audio still, but if you want to watch us on video, you can watch us on YouTube.
Yep, that's fantastic, man. Don't talk about YouTube on Twitch, though. Get you banned. No, I'm just kidding.
I got nervous. It's like, damn, my bad, dude.
No,
I don't know about these rules. I saw you
for a second, like, went through one of you, like, really? No,
yeah, like you was watching YouTube on Twitch.
But no, thank you very much for being here on the show. I don't like doing this by myself. And like I said, Joe's going to be here. We're going to have Joe back on full time. But in the meantime, and in between, anytime he's not here, I'm going to have guests on. I'm thankful to have you here this week. Hopefully soon we'll get Ricky on. I do plan on having our man Sir Vikings, and I do plan on having Fiasco, and I do plan on having the man himself, Leaky Crawfish. We got to be getting the rest of the LS5 leadership on here. We've had Joe, myself. We've also done Cushy Nugs. And we had Wiley and Acid a couple weeks ago. So you guys are going to be able to see and hear from the rest of the leadership and some of the folks that have really made a big difference. And then as we get a little bit further, we'll definitely get into some of the moderators. I know Dr. Dune. I don't know if she's interested, but Dr. Dune has definitely given to the community significantly. And we, a lot of the other mods have definitely jumped in. We got Frank Vegas coming over here helping us with the website. So if you haven't seen it, leakysquad.com is rocking. We got some forums out there. You got to register for them, right? It's different than your Discord, but get on out there because we're gonna have contests and giveaways and all sorts of crazy shit. We're just getting started, man. We got TwitchCon coming up in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be meeting these people. I'm gonna be pinching some cheeks, giving some hugs. I cannot fucking wait. We got Reaper of Hugs 42. If you haven't seen that man, he's going for partner. I'm gonna meet that man. We're gonna have a Mad Dog together, or I don't know, Mad Dog, or we might even do a Four Loco or both. But for those of you in the chat, I do appreciate you sticking with us. And buddy, do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap it on up?
For the most part, no, but we also have a website up and running. It's MMAmarks.com.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I mean,
you never
not
told
like,
me.
It's still kind of like getting there, but you can go on it.
All right.
And also, I just wanted to thank you for having me on, and I wish we could just keep talking forever because I could do this all day.
Dude, we will. You'll be back again. That's for sure. Now that we got this set up, guys. Discord audio. Discord, get your shit together, okay? I'm trying to do a one-on-one direct message. It's the third time I've tried to do this, Discord. I know you're watching, all right? Your audio and your video don't sync, and it sucks. I'm over here using Google Duo to do a Discord video chat. You tell me that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me, Discord. Come on, now get your shit together. And with that, Courtney was busy watching RedTube. She's back now, though.
All right, good.
She's back to watch the wrap-up. So, that's it. I got my lights going. I can't wait. Okay, last thing. I got to tell you. Last thing. I'm moving my room around, hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow. And I put a lot of time and effort into my lighting, right? I got all these Philips Hue things and blah, 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 right? My camera can't pick it up because of the position of my camera and all these other lights that I got shining off my shiny forehead and stuff. It's too bright. So you can't tell that I have, like, you know, red. You can't really tell too much, but, like, I have blood red. Everything in my room is blood red to me, or purple, right? And you might be able to see just this tiny little glint. Green, we got orange, right? Well, I'm changing my room around so that when I hit a button, you see it behind me. When you are done, I want to set up a video. All right, Ricky's asking for help. Ricky, when I'm done here, I do have to go say hello to my wife, and after that, if I can. But I'm gonna help you out, because we gotta get you going. But we need you.
Always asking for help.
What does he only need? 7 hours of streaming, and then he's partner or affiliate, right? Partner. Ricky for partner.
We'll be partner soon. He's my partner.
That is true. Partner in crime. All right, everybody. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna finish it up. Ricky, I'll touch base with you right after here. Episode number 71 is in the books, and thank you all so much, buddy. Thank you again for sticking with us, and check them out. As you can see on the screen, at MMA_marks. That's pretty much across the board. You want to find them, just go to your favorite social media, type that in, boom, you get them, and you also get yourself some golden nuts, because he loves gold.
I love gold.
Thank you, everybody.